Okay, yeah. Today I will be talking about both OmniScript as well as integration processor. So as I told you, I'll be in shoes of Venu, so I'm using his presentation. His presentation is a bit different. I have a different presentation which has only the theory. So, but this is the presentation that is developed by Venu for his own sessions. Okay, so what is OmniScript? Before I talk about OmniScript, I'll talk about process builder as well as flows. Flow or process builder or the declarative tools, right? We can we can use them to automate something in Salesforce. We can use them to do some actions, right? Like create a record, update a record, send an email, etc. Right? Process can do almost 11 things, 11 actions. And we can do those actions when a record is created or updated. Whereas when we talk about flow has different features. Flow can be built for a user interaction, like a screen flow, where user can enter some values and save them into Salesforce, right? We call it a screen flow. So in the screen flow or in the flows, we can create variables, we can store some value in the variables, we can query the database, we can insert data into the database, we can do all those things, right? And even flows can also be used in place of triggers, like they can also do some automated things when a record is created or updated, right? So these are the tools which can do more than any other tool in Salesforce. When we talk about approval process, workflows, etc., quick actions, etc., this process builder and flows will do more, right? If I compare this OmniScript with this either process builder or flow, OmniScript can do much more than those tools. Okay, OmniScript is mainly used for the screen things. Okay, we can compare it with screen flow. So it can take input from user and do much more than a flow and save the data to the Salesforce, or it can also make a call out to external system to send the data or to receive the data and do whatever we want in the OmniScript. Okay, so talking about OmniScript is one of digital experience tool or maybe Omni Studio tool on digital experience tool on Omni Studio that helps you to create a guided path to complete a business process. A guided path to complete a business process. Guided path. What is guided path? It will guide a user. It will ask questions like, hey, what is the name of the business? What do you want? How many employees in your company? Right? If we ask an agent to fill the form will ask questions. Enter the company name, enter the number of employees in the company, enter the address of the company, select the product, select the attributes, select the sub products, right? We can ask user to enter all these values, which is similar to a flow, screen flow. Once user enter all the values, a Nomni script can process that data to either Salesforce or any other thing, either Salesforce or external system. Here, here are a few things we have in the digital experience, which is an UI. We have FluxCard and OmniScript, right? If you can see here, FluxCard and OmniScript. We have service management, where we use either data wrapper or integration processor to transform or manipulate data or to get the data between the system and this digital experience interfaces. For developer experience, we have a few tools like IDX Workbench, IDX build tool, where we can build something. Okay, so this is what a digital experience tool means. And here, a guided path to complete a business process is similar to this, where an agent can just call someone and ask the questions whatever he see in the form, and just fill them and save them to the database, right? Save them to the Salesforce. Okay, so let's see a simple example. This is what uh, Vena used as an example. So I also want to just use this example in the presentation, not in the actual org, but I'll walk you through how to create a basic OmniScript to do anything, right? Let's see a simple OmniScript that is placed in energy utilities portal, where customer can enter energy meter reading. So it looks like this, right? So he can just submit the reading. This is the dashboard. If you people notice, this is a portal, or it's a community where everything is there, but we have a button here. We have an action where this action will take user to a guided process, right? So when user click on this button, he'll go to the next step where he can select what type of reading he want to enter, either a standard type of reading or some economy 7, a different type of meter which takes two inputs. This will take only one input. So depending on the user's meter, for example, in my house I have this meter, the old one, I'll select the standard, but if I have this one, I'll select this one where I can enter two inputs, right? So we can give an option. This flow will guide the user. Hey, you select whichever meter you have at home. So to kill the confusion, even images are added here, right? This is not possible in flows, right? To have the images. Correct me, Sheetal, if I'm wrong. So once user select this, we can navigate them to the area where user can enter multiple values in multiple input columns. So if I select the second one, maybe user selected the second one. So there are two types of readings here where user will enter those readings in this. Okay. So these are guided flow again. See, you can see here, select the reading. Initially select the meter type maybe. Here submit the reading. So in the submit reading, you can just enter the details, like, okay, this is for a gas and this is for electricity. Maybe gas reading and electricity reading are entered here. Then the details are submitted, and a message is showed to the user. By now, I think people who know flows can just compare, like user is guided to enter few values and the submission happens in the end. OmniScript will take care of saving this data to the Salesforce, and if any calculations are needed, like, hey, the previous reading of the meter is so and so and current reading of the meter is so and so, so user has to pay this much of money with so and so calculations, like, in India it's like, for certain units they charge this much, for other units they charge this much, and there will be slabs. So that calculation can be done in the OmniScript, which can be built by us, and after that calculation is done, that value is saved in the database. At the same time, it can send an email to the user, right? Or send an SMS if we integrate a SMS gateway. So OmniScript can be a guided flow. It can also be something like process builder, which will happen automatically between two actions, or between two screens or something. Okay, coming to this, what is on OmniScript? Let's see what involved in this and estimate the efforts in Salesforce or LWC. Okay, if we talk about the same thing that has to be developed using or LWC, first we need this screen, then this screen, then this screen, right? Backend actions that makes to save data into system. You can see two screens, two input, three input elements, business logic on saving data. What is estimation of development? How easy for changes? Is it easy to handle screen flow? What if I want add another screen in between, etc. These are the various questions. So in the next screen, we have answers. Maybe I show, oops, okay. Okay, maybe I should use this to show you these questions. I don't know it. So yeah, anyways. Oh, I got the answers, right? If I use an OmniScript, two screens, drag and drop, two steps, three elements, three input elements, drag and drop, two inputs, okay, only two inputs. Business logic, I can have IP or data adapter. If I use, what is the estimation for development? It will be 8 hours. How easy to change is highly flexible. Is it easy to handle screen flow? Very easy. What if I want to add another screen in between? Add a step with simple steps, right? So imagine if we have to do the same thing using or LWC. These figures are different. These figures will be different. Coming to this one, how is it for changes? It's it it's very tough. Once we have a design in LWC, it's not easy to make changes. If we make any changes, then we have to consider the re-estimation of the um, efforts, right? And here it's very easy. And if we have to introduce one more step, then again the estimates will change, efforts estimation will change, as well as the business logic has to be updated, the solution has to be redesigned, and all these are very high, right? So using OmniScript, these are easily achieved, right? Even in using OmniScript, if we have to add a step, we have to redesign the solution, but the implementation will not affect much. It's very easy to add. I'll show you how this works. What is an OmniScript? Oh, got to we got to this point now. What is an OmniScript? They allow you to construct complex customer experiences and interactions without having to write code. This is very important point. And they can be uh, distributed across multiple channels and devices, right? OmniScript gives a lightning component as an output. When we built an OmniScript, what we get is a lightning component. That lightning component can be easily added to any pages, any lightning pages, community pages or record pages, home pages, any page, right? And those lightning components are compatible with any device, any screen. Those can be opened in laptops, computers, tablets, mobiles, similar to what we can do with LWC, right? Or Aura. So these Omni scripts are also responsive. That means depending on the screen, they'll refit all the components or all the elements within them. So these are responsive. This fits with any device, any screen. Business logic will not change. Okay, only screens will change, UI will change. Typical example of OmniScripts. A customer agent adding a new customer. An agent adding a new customer, as I mentioned earlier. So they'll ask for agent details. I mean, not the agent, customers details like company name, company address, company type, company's annual income, number of employees in the company, etc. Then they can store those values, right? A service agent updating a customer information. The same agent or other agent can update the existing data. Previously, they have added new data. Here, they can update the existing data. A customer filtering a customer survey, sorry, filling a customer survey. A customer can come and just fill the survey. We can just ask him to enter few values, which is how we develop the inflows. I'm just talking about these flows that because I'm aware that Sheetal has already covered flows for you people. So you can compare this with flows. Then it will be easy for you to understand what is OmniScript. Okay. So different types of elements and use. OmniScript has actions. Okay. For calling another tools to perform various actions, getting or saving data, calculating, sending an email, so on. Second element type is display. For displaying text and image on the screen to enhance the usability of the UI. Third is functions. Functions are used to calculate something. Performing calculations within OmniScript, showing conditional messages and providing geolocation. Okay. Groups. For grouping elements together on the UI. Inputs. For system or user inputs or selection. OmniScripts. We can also have reusable OmniScripts and use them in different OmniScripts. Okay. Something like uh, reusable flow or reusable process, right? Okay, just adding to theory. Omni scripts work on any device and any channel. Similar to Salesforce applications, the Omni scripts built for users can be displayed for uses on any device and channel like mobiles or portals. Omni scripts has a modular architecture. In OmniScript frontend, templates is separated from its backend. OmniScript has a different frontend, like those are executed on client side, right? OmniScripts are executed on client side, very similar to LWC. So they separate the JSON metadata structure, the templates, and the data from each other. Data collected with an OmniScript can be inserted into Salesforce object fields using either data raptors or published using an external REST API or save as an application in the Velocity application object, right? So OmniScripts can save data using data raptors and also integration processor. Even integration processor use data raptors to save the data or fetch the data. We'll talk about integrations after we discuss about OmniScripts. But this OmniScripts can do much more than what you're thinking at this point. I'll show you at least a couple of examples today. I'll build a couple of examples today to make you understand what we can do using OmniScripts. Is OmniScript displaying data from multiple data sources? They display both internal data from Salesforce and then external data from third-party legacy system or websites. Yes, OmniScripts can get data from Salesforce as well as external systems using REST API and display the data to the user. Is rebrand OmniScripts to suit our customers? Exactly, yes. Both the style and appearance of the OmniScripts can be customized to be in sync with the business. We can have CSS, we can use logos, we can use images, we can change the colors, we can do complete updates on the UI. let's jump into system. Oh yeah, before we jump, before that, any doubts? I don't know how to talk in Balkrishna's way. I think we have someone who can just talk
I
in.
like this one.
I think Vinay, you can just say any doubts as Balakrishna.
Not today.
I really missed your yours. I was not there.
So Bala, is this Venus?
Yes,
Okay.
that's why I told it. I'm using his presentation.
So this is last slide, or do we have any more?
This is last slide before we jump into the hands-on. He has some questions, but I don't want to ask these questions. I will ask them later. But yeah, this is the last slide uh, by him. Any questions? Any doubts? I can't mimicry.
So it looks like we reached 45 minutes logical stop.
Mhm. Yeah, even I want to drink uh, some coffee, not
Colored
some.
water, colored water or something.
No, have to talk for next 2 hours. So no color water now.
Okay. So here is what we would like to do, guys. I shared, I tried for some reason I was not able to add the demo arcs for individuals. So I'm just sharing my demo arc in the WhatsApp group, right? And put your name before and start building that one, right? At least, just walk around and see what you can be done before. And then whoever is doing the assignments, they can use that arc, right? But, take your own.
Okay, we'll be back by 5. We'll take a 10 minutes break. Okay, yesterday when we discussed under this interaction platform, we just gone through this data raptors. We went to this tab and understand how to build new data raptors using this data raptor designer. So now we'll discuss about this tab, Velocity OmniScript Designer. Okay, so now Velocity has removed this Velocity and Designer. They're just calling this as OmniScripts under Omni Studio. Okay. Okay. Before I talk, yeah, I want to confirm. Is everyone back?
I
Yes.
hope so.
Yes.
Yeah, even I hope so. I don't know what's happening behind other screens and all. So I'm also hoping that everyone's back and listening to me. I'm just kidding. Yeah. Anyways, so okay, before I talk about this OmniScript designer or anything, what we see are tabs. You may get this doubt. When we are calling these as tools, why are these under tabs? Under tabs, we should have objects, right? So tabs are created from the objects. Custom tabs are created from the objects. If these are the tabs, if these are the custom tabs, then why we are calling these as tools, right? Yes. Answer is Velocity has developed these tools using object architecture. These are objects on Salesforce, but which has much more features than objects, right? So whenever we create an OmniScript, that is saved as a record in Salesforce. So Velocity is creating metadata as well as data. They have created metadata and they're creating data whenever we use this designer, right? This is data. That's why we see these list of either OmniScripts or data raptors or anything integration browser, everything as records. this is a list view, but we don't have the control on this list. We can't change which fields to, which columns to display, which columns not to display. Only thing we have is filter, right? So, and these are the new and import buttons, where we can export an OmniScript and import them back into the same org or some different org. We can move data from one org to another org by just exporting and importing this OmniScripts or IP or data wrappers, etc. Okay, so here is the list of OmniScripts. These are the sample OmniScripts provided by Velocity or Salesforce Industries. So I have opened couple of OmniScripts. So I opened non-LWC one. Okay, we will discuss about this one. Let me close the other and let me open an LWC also. If you notice here in this list, what we see is LWC enabled and LWC non-enabled OmniScripts also. Okay, if we see, we can see a form here, right? This is called as small group coding. I'm just showing you an example before I show you the features. Let's say small group coding, small group is nothing but a small company which has less than 50 employees who wants to get the insurance. Okay, small group coding means we have a flow which generates the code, which creates the code for a small group. Okay, so this is the guided flow, or this is the flow which can take the information. For example, we are talking about insurance, right? Insurance companies as brokers. So we have heading called tell us about your group, and we have total 5 steps. Initially, details about the group, then uh, whether we are checking whether they are qualified or not, then we are getting the details of the employees of the company. We call it a census. Then we ask user to, or broker or agent, to select the plan types, and finally summary. Okay, so initially group details. In this group details, this section, this broker number, agency, or from the user, whoever user logged in, these details are filled in from the user. I logged in, so I see my name. I'm not actually broker, so I don't have broker number and agency. But if I log in as a broker through a portal or through any interface, you'll see the details populated automatically. Generally, agency is an account, and this one is user or contact, whatever. If we generally we'll give community user login for an agent. If you know community, it's fine. If you don't know community, communities are nothing but um, a, a portal. It's a feature provided by Salesforce, where we can ask external users to log in into Salesforce using portal. Okay, we'll talk about it more later, maybe in Salesforce sessions. So then we are collecting the other details of the group. So let's say Magnity. Magnity is the company. They have SIC. It's searching for the SIC. Okay. Then mailing address 123 at the bar ts let's say contact first name is Vinay, last name title manager something Vinay at magnitude.com. This is not T, it's I. This is not Vinay's number, don't mind. Okay, so once we once we added the company's details, then we are asking uh, for more details where it will check for the qualification, right? Let's qualify group. So effective date, I want this insurance from June 10th, maybe. Okay. So eligible employees, let's say 25. Number of employees and enrolling, let's say 25. Out of state employees, let's say 50. Are you code the private exchange portfolio? Let me say yes. Would you like to code Cobra? Say yes. These are some business terminologies, insurance terminologies. Don't worry about this at this point. You want code for pediatric dental. Do you have dental last year? So I just answered everything yes. Then here we are supposed to collect the census details. Okay. Maybe this is not activated. Let me check. Oh, I have to refill all this. Okay. So anyway, I'll explain you this later. So OmniScript is not active. That's why some pages, some page didn't display because it has LWC in it. So whenever there is an LWC, we won't be able to see it or render it unless we activate. So okay, so let's see the effective date is 10 June again. Let's say 25, 25, 50 S with everything. Then next, not again. Okay, so I don't want to debug now, but there should be a screen here. I didn't select it. Then I have the plans. I selected the plan, click next, and a code should get created. When I click go to code, I'll be taken to that code. But in this census, this plan types and the summary, all the calculations will happen. The census will take the details of all the 25 people. Maybe I thought I'll add couple of people, but but that screen didn't show up. So I don't want to stuck up here by debugging or something. Then here is the plan that I can select. Then this is the area where I see the code details. Maybe this is unfinished, but you see the you have seen the flow. So all that flow is built using various elements which are visible here in the structure. So as we discussed earlier, right, in the screen we have these types of elements, total 6. These element types are here. If you can see actions, display, function, groups, input, and omniscripts. We'll discuss about this. If you if you see this panel in flows, what you see is the canvas where we can add all the elements, right? In the same way, we can just add the elements here and we can create a flow. The output of the flow is in the preview. Okay, I'll show you one more example. Then let's jump into more details of those elements and how to add them to the structure. We'll build something from the scratch. Okay, so this is not LWC. This is an LWC. This velocity, these objects are very slow actually. So sometimes it's take more than expected. So we should be patient with them. I don't know why it's not opening. Even I just clicked 3 to 4 times. Okay, I'll show you the example later. Let me let me show you what are the various elements that we have and how we can build a new OmniScript from the scratch. Okay, so when I click new, it's asking for name, language, type, and subtype. Remember, language, type, and subtype are most important for any OmniScript. We should select all the three, right? And these combination of these three will make a OmniScript unique. We can have same language, same type, and different subtype, which will be two different OmniScripts. In the same way, we can have same language, different type, and same subtype will be again different OmniScript. Language also makes the OmniScript different. Okay, so this name is to just display, but this type and subtype will make the OmniScripts unique along with the language. Okay, let's say initially I want to display the account details of the account that we have selected. Let's say a small OmniScript to show or to display the account details. Account details. So generally type is account. In the subtype we'll mention let's say show details. So if we are creating a different OmniScript to update accounts, type account here we'll just give a subtype as create account or create new something or create update, whatever. Okay, so by saving, a new OmniScript will be launched. So actually this is LWC interface, LWC type of interface. So what the content you will see now will be with the uh, different designer, which is classic designer. So I will navigate to classic designer to show you, but this is LWC, this is LWC designer. So to navigate to classic designer, just click on this down arrow and just select this, click on this open in classic. If you want to go back to that LWC designer, you can just click on this to go back there. Okay, so only difference is like you will see the canvas kind of thing here, and you will see all the tools here, all the elements and the structure here. In the same way, if we navigate to classic designer, we'll see the elements here, we'll see the structure here, and in the LWC preview we will see the preview. Their preview is directly visible. Here preview is not visible, only we can see the structure. So first step in this structure is script configuration, which are nothing but properties of this OmniScript. You will see here like the name of the OmniScript, type, subtype, language, and also currency code and other details. Lot of details. The main thing that you should know is like enable LWC. If we enable LWC, this OmniScript will work as an LWC, or if we disable this OmniScript will work as Angular version. So if you see some OmniScripts without this LWC preview, then this is done on Angular using Angular, I can say like Angular platform or something, or Angular framework. So this is, if we enable this, automatically this will be developed on LWC framework. Okay, so always enable this LWC, because now everything is LWC. And also if we select this reusable OmniScript, this OmniScript will become a reusable OmniScript where we can use this in some other OmniScript. Okay, if I scroll down, we'll see lot of options. Don't worry about this now. So now this is the OmniScript structure where the script configuration is the first thing, but which will not be displayed to the user. Okay, these are the properties. Then we have a step. Step is nothing but area where we can add elements, and those elements are visible to the users. Okay, so if you want to uh, display account details or create a new account, we can add some elements into the step one which are visible to the end user. For example, I'll go to display. I have a few elements in display to show to the end user. I have headline, line break, and text block. You know about line break, right? It's like break. It's like breaking to the next line. I want to add a heading, headline. I want to add a break, line break. I want to add a text block. I just want to show you how this will work. In the headline, I want to display something. Get account details. Okay, so not get account details. So element name is nothing but the API name of this element that we add. So account details is the element name, account details heading, right? So we can use spaces, but it's not recommended because this OmniScript loading process will become very slow if we have spaces in it, because it's an API name. It accepts the spaces, but it's not a good practice. Account details. If you notice, I have a formatting here, so I can type anything, and this will be displayed as the heading. I can make it bold, change the color, and other formatting options are there also. I can also select an image, import an image. I can have a link here, image here. I can also use this source code to just add HTML code. Let me make it bold, change the color something, and increase the font as well. Heading size. Line break is just to break the line. I can give additional padding if I want in the text block. Um, here to, or this section will display the details of the account selected, or details of the account. Let's preview this. So I have step 1. This section will display the details of the account, right? So heading didn't come up. I'm not worried at this point, but what I see is step 1, and this section will display the details of the account, right? And I got the step name also here. So let me go to the step name and change the label to account details. So for few things like this inputs and all, we'll have two names, like the field label and the field name, element name. So field label is the label which is displayed to the end user, right? This is like label, this is like name. So okay, if I preview again, the step 1 will be changed to account details, and here as well, right? Because I changed the label, but here it's still step 1 because my element name is still step 1. So step is like screen inflow, where we can have, it can be a placeholder where we can have a lot of fields in it. Okay, so then if we go to input, so here are various things, various inputs, right? So for example, I want to get the account and display in a text box. I can add this. I can add this text here. It's a drag and drop. I can just drag and drop the text, this text into here, text element into here, and just name it as business name, and change the label as business name. Then one more text for business number. Okay, let me preview. I have two text elements added to the screen, to the step, where these two business name and business number are displayed as input fields to the user, right? So I can add more. I can add a phone here. I can add few fields for address, street, city, state, zip, and country. Remember one thing, this is an auto save tool. Whatever you add, it will be auto saved. When you close and come back, you'll see your changes, latest changes. You don't need to worry about saving this when you made some changes, right? This is a auto save tool. Okay, so let me name it as phone. Street, city, state, zip or postal code, whatever, and country. Okay, let me preview. Oh, everything is stretched and everything or plays one after another, where I don't like this UI, where I see all this in a single line, like single block. If you notice the phone, when I add the phone element, we got the format of the phone, right? 334 with a hyphen. So depending on the data type or depending on the element type we select, velocity will take care of this type, this how it displays to the end user. These are text, right? So if we add a number, we cannot add text into that number. Velocity is taking care of even that. And we have a lot here. We can have a checkbox, we can have currency type. Okay, let's add annual revenue. Suddenly I know I have a, okay, you can check here. I don't know, suddenly I didn't get the spelling of it. Sometimes it happens to me. So annual revenue. Okay. So this is a currency type. So if I go, I got dollar symbol and I cannot enter any letters, only numbers, and I got the exact formatting of the currency, right? So I got the dollar symbol. So it depends on the currency code. Okay. So now I want to make this look better. I want to change this UI. I can go to each element and change the width of it. So if you know the uh, actual size of any element in this modern JavaScript or 12 elements, right? 12 blocks. So if anyone know Bootstrap or any similar frameworks, you will know that every element will be uh, occupying 12 columns. So I want to make this 6, and I want to make this bill account number or business number also into 6. Then this phone into 6. I want to move this annual revenue here, and I also want to make this 6. Then I want to have a break. I'll go to display, bring the line break here, add a text block next to line break, where I want to add address details. I want to remove this field label can be blank. I want to make this bold, change the color something, and I also want to increase the font. I just saw the chart from Dinesh. What's that? What's that question, Dinesh?
Suppose if he has taken any inputs, we get label as a name prefix with that field. Like suppose name means name is
Yes.
there. So if you're taking as a text block, so if I want to show that output, some account name with Bala, some text block in the text. So how can I show that label as a account name for text block?
Okay. So this this is the text block. You're talking about the text block.
Yes,
So this element name.
yes.
Okay. So we can't make this element name dynamic. We can only enter the name here, even the label also, but we can have dynamic values or uh, merging. We can merge the Salesforce data in this, but we can't do it here.
Okay. So my doubt is Bala, suppose I want to show output something we are getting from the dynamically here,
Mhm.
which you displayed in the text. But I need to show displayed some hard code text value also. So where I need to use that one in the text itself, I need to add any hard code value. Like I
In
need to
this
display
text, yes.
account name with some Bala. So Bala is the dynamically it is coming from the text.
Mhm. We can add it here,
Okay.
account name. So
Fine.
this is the area where I'll show you that because I already added it. So when I preview, it showed as the account details. So let me move the phone number to the top and just click on the preview. This is what you're talking about, right, Dinesh?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So we can display any static text using this text block, as well as we can just have some field inside it, or we can give the dynamic values that we get from the S object displayed in this. Let me, if you can notice, I have six with 6 for all these elements, and these are formatted. And for street, so the general format we do is like for to street, let me make it as 8 4. In the state, let's say test 5. This as 3. 5 plus 4 is 9, right? Okay. Country is 3. So if we consider total 12 of these 3 elements are 3, then these will be in a single row. So here street is 8 and city is 4. So these both will be displayed in a single row. This is 5 plus 4, 9 plus 3, 12. So these 3 will be displayed in a single row, single line. This is not just these are not the standard values. Depending on the UI that client is expecting, we can just make these changes, right? Street will have more words in it, so I have given 8. City will can be this much, state can be this much. But remember, most of the state names will be 2-letter, so I maximum saw the state as two elements only. But here I want to just give like this, zip and country. Okay, now here are some input fields. So how to populate the data of any account in this, right? So before we do that, if we click on the data, what we see is JSON structure. If you notice here in the step 1, what we see is the street, city, state, zip, country. But if I enter something here, those will be automatically added. Okay, let's say 1 2 3 4 5 6. Let's say annual revenue, then phone number, or maybe 4 0 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Yep. And 1 2 3 Hyderabad, TS. Okay, so this is the JSON structure that this input fields are expecting under the step 1, right? Under the step 1, these are the various elements that we added. We added street, city, state, zip, country, business name, business number, annual revenue, and phone. These names of the elements will not make any effect, like the order, either the orders or the element names will not affect anything on SObject, right? So SObject names are different. So if you notice, this street will be saved inside our street. Data will be fetched from uh, billing street from the account, billing city, billing state, billing zip, billing country. Names doesn't need to be same. This is the structure that our OmniScript elements are expecting. OmniScript structure is expecting. Okay, we need this. So we'll copy this and we'll keep it somewhere. So let me create a JSON. Let me open a JSON editor. So this JSON structure is not correct. So I have to open, close. So this is the JSON structure, right? Which my OmniScript is expecting. Step 1 is the parent node and all these are child nodes. Let's keep it here. And let us go back to the OmniScript which we are building. And from the actions, so if you can notice, I have lot of elements for input, like checkbox, currency, custom LWC, date, time, email. We can upload files, filter image. We can have images. We can have a lookup. So lookup is similar to the lookup of Salesforce, but different UI and different functionality, but similar to lookup. So we have multi-select, we have number, password, radio button radio is not available in Salesforce, right? Those are available in flows and OmniScripts. So range, we can have range, we can have a bar. Select is nothing but the pick list, right? Then signature, telephone, text area, time, URL. These are the various inputs that OmniScript can take. Then we have actions. These are the various actions where we can user can do, not user, OmniScript can communicate with the server, can get the details, can send the details, can send an email, can call make a call an external system. It can generate a PDF, etc. Lot of actions, right? So it's not easy to discuss everything in one day. So let's stick with only few actions. Yesterday, if you remember, we have built a data wrapper to get the account details, right? So where we have provided the name. So we'll take the OmniScript. Sorry, we'll take the data wrapper. Yes, Swati, definitely we can show the pick list values from the S object using select. Okay, let me open this open the data wrapper which I created yesterday.
Get account.
Get tech. Come on, it's very slow. So get accounts. Okay, so I have let me create a new one. Get account details. I just cloned it because I already have some mappings. So I want to remove this product. It will remove all my mappings in the output. So I want to remove the contact also. Then go to output. I see only the, those are not removed. Okay, let's remove them. Let me go to quick match where I have all this. So let me remove product. I also want to remove the contact details. Then save. So I see only three details here. So I'll do one thing. I'll go back, get the exact format I want, and come back here. And I'll paste this in this expected JSON output. We can use this expected JSON output to auto create this output JSON path. This is the output JSON path, right? Expected JSON output. I'll go back to this one, quick match. I don't want this. I don't want these two. Now my board is clear, right? So let me click on quick match again. So account number matching with business number. Save. Okay, let me try auto match. Phone is matched. Annual revenue is matched because these element names are very similar. But this business name didn't match because it's name, right? The account name is name here. So I can search for it. Name, account name is matched to business name. Pair. Billing street with street, billing state with state, billing city with city, billing country with country, and the postal code with the zip. I got the mapping. I missed one thing. I removed ID. I want ID if I have to update this record. I'm just displaying the details now, but always remember to get the account ID or any ID. But I have to create. I don't have ID in this structure, so I want to create it manually. Okay. So in the current JSON output, I will see that ID, but not in the expected. So I also want to make a small change. Instead of account number, I want to give the input as ID, account ID, and I want to make it equal to, I just want to display only one record. So here, account ID, let me pick up an account. Sorry if you see my daughter just jumped in and she's playing around. If you people are noticing my video. Okay. So let me pick up this ID, go back to my data raptor and pass the ID and get the account details. Something wrong. So here I'm just checking against the name. So I'll select the ID and I got the account details. So I have the exact mapping, right? Step 1 and the elements. So I can directly use this data raptor in my OmniScript. So I can drag drop this above the step. I can drag drop this data raptor extract action where I under this data raptor interface I can use this get account details. Let me name it as dr. Remember, before every element's name, we'll add the type of the element, short form of the type of the element, like dr stands for data raptor underscore extract or ext, whatever people use different names, and then get account details. Somewhere it is. Okay, I have the space. This field label is not mandatory, but we can just have it. I'll show you where it is displayed. So this data raptor will give an output, but it needs an input, right? So okay, so I can pass the input from here. So let's say filter value is the name mentioned here, the key. I mentioned the key here. I'm mentioning the key here, account ID here. Let me say context ID. So we have something called context ID, which is a context variable for an OmniScript. So if we pass the account ID into this context ID, I'll show you how to pass it using this preview. So once we pass this context ID will feed the data into this key of the data raptor, which is filter value, into this data raptor and get that output from the data raptor and add it to the data of the OmniScript, so which matches the structure. Let's give it a try. Let me pick this ID. Let me pick this ID and go here. And when I preview, when I go to data, I have something called context ID here, where I can just add the context ID, add that ID to this context ID and update. If you notice, all the details from the S object are automatically displayed in all these elements, right? Because the expected structure is filled by my data raptor, except this phone. This phone came as null. Maybe there is no data, but there is a data. Let us go back, check this output and the phone. Where is the phone? This is the phone where when I pass this, I got the phone, but this phone is in the form of text where this element, this specific element is expecting a phone format. So I can change this type of the phone to the number. So there is no phone type, right? These are the data types uh, similar to these Apex data types. So let me preview. I got the phone still as text. Okay, let me try now. My laptop is out of charge. Okay, I still didn't get the phone. I think recently, Dinesh, Dinesh or Sandeep, you people have solved it. How did you solve this?
Mm, no, Bala, I tried for my, it is working fine. Sandeep facing issue.
Okay. Okay. So let me look at this. But if you notice, we got all the values except phone into this. So whatever details we make changes, those will not be updated, right? So because I don't have any other step or anything else, so I can create, or I already have one more data raptor now, right? Okay, I'll talk about that data raptor as well, and then we'll take a break. Let me go to data raptor designer again. Dinesh, what is the data raptor that I created yesterday to update the record?
Sorry, Bala, I forgot.
No problem.
Create update Bala. Create update account.
Okay. Thanks, Anand. Create update account. Okay. Is it Anand or Prasad? A voice looks like Prasad's. Okay. Anyways, yeah. Thanks for letting me know. And again, this is not the expected structure, right? So let me go back to the OmniScript. If I do the preview, again, I can get this, copy the structure and go to the data raptor. This is the input, right? So I want to change the input. I can remove from here, but I always go with this pick match. This is the best tool to do. Again, quick match. I'll try to auto match. Couple of fields, 3 fields got auto matched. Step 1 with the annual revenue, ID, phone. So business name with the name. And business number with record number. Doing the same as similar with extract. Billing, city with city, country with country, postal code with zip, state with state, street with street, save. I got the mapping. Okay, so straight away we will use this in the OmniScript. After the step, I will add data after post action. Load is nothing but posting data. Extract is this extract action and post is this post action. So I can use it here. I can call this data wrapper here. Create update account. dr underscore post underscore okay. So this will take the input from this step and update the account record. Let's give it a try. So once we have something after the step, we will get next button automatically. Okay, step will have next and previous buttons. If we have one more step, and if we navigate to the step and want to come back, we'll get previous button. So once I got next button, so I want to change it back to ACME and I want to remove A. Click next. Data is actually changed. The post action will change or manipulate the data. See, ACME and the account number. Account number is also updated. So this is something like this is the UI and this is the get action and this is the post action to update. Okay, what if we don't pass in context ID? Magneti 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One, two, three. HYD TS 500084 IN. Click next. And let's go and search for Magneti, which is created. Right. So when I have an ID, it's updating the record. When I don't have an ID, it's creating a new record. So with very few just drag and drops and click and create, we created a form which looks more better and which can do more than what what we generally expected as a Salesforce developer, right? So this is main use of this OmniScripts. This is one of the use cases we generally build using OmniScripts. But it can do this. OmniScript can do more. It can send an email using email action. It can navigate to some other page using navigate action. It can generate a PDF. It can make a call out using HTTP action. It can call an apex using remote action. uh, we have a submit action. We can also handle errors. We can also set errors, uh, and etc. using these actions. Okay, so if we go to functions, we can have a formula. We can use formula. We can calculate something in between. We can calculate, or we can have a geolocation. We can give a message to the user. We can use aggregations. If we go to groups, we can have a separate block. So address can be inside a separate block, address block. So we can have a block. We can have something called edit block, where we can display list of users. We will talk about this in our future sessions. We will be giving you assignments, um, some use cases. We will show you how to build some use case, and we will give you some tasks where we will use almost every element. So we can have one more step. We can have type head. Type head is most powerful element in OmniScripts. It can search for an account using this, using any letter. It works similar to lookup, but it can fill up an element, other elements. It can do more than a lookup. Type ahead. I'll also show you that type ahead in future sessions. If we have a reusable OmniScript already developed, we can just add them from here. So yeah, this is what I want to talk about, the OmniScripts. I think I'm done and I'm over time for
So
the break.
Bala,
Yes,
Swati left a message the chat saying that how do you handle typically like a dependencies of this list value based on a country selection of state. Not
Yes.
sure, you must have already covered. I was away for 15
I
minutes.
just tell high level how to do it, but this is the element that we can use, select, and it has a feature like it can get the data from this object source. If I give account dot state, now state is not a pick list for me, so I won't get any details, but I have a state as a pick list, or any pick list. I can just specify the API name of that field and automatically get those details using select. We'll cover this. I'll try to cover this in some of the use cases. Okay, I hope I answered your question, Swati. Okay.
So Bala, I think do we have next 1 hour? I think are we done for the day?
No, next. I should still talk about integration process.
Okay.
So we'll take a short break. I have something to eat on my table. I'm waiting for the break.
Okay. Thanks, Bala.
Any questions? Yeah. Thank you, Ramesh. But any questions before we go for the break?
No.
Okay. Yeah. We'll come back in next 10 minutes. Now time is 6:09. Let's say 6:20. Okay. So previously we have seen this OmniScript, right? In OmniScript we have two data wrappers. remember, these data raptors um, call the S object, right? They made a call to the S object and get the data. They'll send the request and get the response. So when we add these data raptors directly on the OmniScript, these will execute on client side. As you remember, if you remember, I told you this OmniScript is like a wrapper which executes on the client side. These are this UI, these interactions. If I have any calculations in between, everything will happen on client side, right? So I want to show you something before I start getting into IP. If I execute this, I have something called debug. Okay, let me clear and re-execute. Okay, I don't need to re-execute. So whenever I um, just click on the update, or whenever I get these details, if you notice, this get account details data raptor got executed, right? If I expand, I'll see the request and the response. The request is sent as an account ID. I mean, account ID is sent to the S object. I mean, the request is sent as an account ID, and the response is received in the required format, right? Step and so on, so on. So that's why I named get account details in the label where we can identify this. If you see this remote option, okay, you will see few things. We'll discuss about it later. Then when I make some changes, even I don't make some changes, when I click next, one more data raptor executed, right? Which will again send the request of all the required details and get the response, which are updated, right? So the ID which is updated is here. So this is how these data raptors will execute. Data raptors or any actions will be listed here under this debug. This is how we can debug. Okay. So remember, these data raptors are executed on client side. Okay, now we'll talk about integration process.
Bala, if you don't mind, one doubt, Bala.
Yes,
Previously we used it for phone as a for account details. If you change that phone to account phone or something, you check once it is getting output perfect or not.
Okay.
Actually, Sandeep given same as a phone, but I given account phone. It is working for me.
Okay. So you mean in the step
Yes.
here, account phone?
Yeah. As element name.
Okay. I don't think it will impact, but okay, let us try. Trying is not wrong. So here I should change this element name while post, as well as I should get to this. Okay, so I want to directly go to the data raptor. I don't need to search for it. I can open this element next to the data raptor interface. There is a link. When I click that link, I'll be navigated directly to that data raptor. I can say it's a shortcut. Okay. Let me go to output and select this phone. Let me preview. I got phone, my second phone. Let's preview it. So every time I execute this in the debug, I'll see, oh, it worked. Wonderful, Dinesh.
Thanks, Bala.
Yeah, so I got the response and I got this data. I can say this is a bug in velocity, maybe a bug in velocity. Doesn't make sense, right? It should not depend on the element name. If what if I need only phone in the element name? But it worked. Thanks, Dinesh. Okay. So let me jump back to IP now. Velocity integration processors are declarative server-side process that perform several activities in a single call to the server. Okay, I have data after. I want to do more. I want to get data from multiple sources. One from S object, one from external. So here, when I display the account, depending on the account. So if I'm building an application for field service lighting something, where I have to display the temperature and the weather condition of that area, right? If an agent goes there, he should know what is the current situation in that area. So I can use some external tool like WeatherBeat or some other tool which gives me the weather details. When I worked in one of the project, I did this. It's an insurance based company, general insurance based company in US. So they have this towing service. Whenever a vehicle met an accident or vehicle broke down, a towing vehicle will go there, but they'll check the weather condition in that area. So most of the projects need this integration, but where that details comes from, those details doesn't come from Salesforce. Those details comes from external system. So we can use IP, we can use integration processor to get the details from the external system. We can use integration processor to calculate some details, calculate some data. It can also use to transform data from one structure to other structure. So we can do more actions than just executing a data wrapper inside an IP, and those will be executed on server side. Okay, velocity integration procedures are declarative. Those are declarative. All this can be done by just drag and drop, right? Declarative server side process that performs several activities in a single call to the server, and everything will happen in a single call. They are a behind the scene method of obtaining, saving, and manipulating data. Integration procedures are optimal when you need to access and transform data from third-party sources and no user interface is required, and moving the workload from client to server side is desirable. Okay. These are declarative. We can just design an IP which is similar to designing an OmniScript by just dragging drop the elements, but IP doesn't have UI. OmniScripts will have UI, right? But IPs doesn't have UI. Those are used only to get the data, transfer data, and post the data. And we can create versions. So whenever we create an OmniScript, if we have to have a different version, we can create a version from here. Data wrapper doesn't have versions. Okay, so data wrappers are all standalone. So once we need a different version of data wrapper, we have to manually create one more data wrapper, add v1, v2 as the suffix in the end to differentiate them. But IPs can have different versions. OmniScripts can have different versions. Okay. So this OmniScript is server-side processing, allows for better result because in most instances, the server processing data is faster than the client, right? So client-side executions are always lower than server-side executions. When we talk about LWC, we always talk about this. So all the Salesforce calls are made in server side. So we don't have option to execute an Apex on client side, but we can execute some JavaScript, make callouts and all, which are slower than server calls, right? Multiple actions in a single server call. We can use round trips to server, which will prevent or which will improve the performance, right? Uh, okay. Handling of multiple data sources. We can handle multiple data sources there. We can have DR, we can have Apex, and also we can make a call out to external system in a single IP. Okay, not only we can use data router, we can use Apex also, and we can use REST callouts also. We can make REST callouts also in a single integration process. They act as data source for multiple components. So IP can get the data similar to DR, and those can feed data to OmniScripts, Flux cards, uh, and these are from Apex. Okay. So key capabilities of IP: portability. Integration process can be built once and used everywhere. Transfers only the data we need. So we can trim the data. So we can get data of all the subjects, but we can just trim the data which we require, right? Then we can also use IP for batch processing. Large amount of data also can be processed using these IPs by specifying the batch size and all, which will prevent us causing the Salesforce timeout, right? Most of us are scared about this session time or Salesforce timeout and all. Integration processor uses. Integration processors are used when data needs to be accessed or transferred from external systems. User interface is not, where user interface is not required. Processing needs to be transferred from client to server. This is one of my favorite slides. If you see, we have Salesforce here. All these uh, tools are developed on top of Salesforce, right? So we can get the data using only data raptors other than Apex, only data raptors. Okay. So these integrations can use data raptors to get data from Salesforce, and these can be used to feed data to Flux cards or OmniScripts. And this integration processor can also get data from web APIs and legacy systems using callouts. So from here or from here, integration processor can get the data and feed the data to either OmniScripts or Flux cards. Integration processors can also feed data to cards, LWC cards, as well as LWC components. LWC components also can call integration processor, but it's very advanced. Integration processors can be called from so many places. Even integration processor also can be called from Apex. That is also more advanced, but we generally don't need it, right? So OmniScripts can get data. We will replace the data raptor with integration processor in our previous example. So integration processor advantage over Apex classes. Development time is reduced by 97%. I'm not telling this. Velocity itself is telling it, because we don't need to write the code. We don't need to check for the syntaxes. We don't need to check for the exceptions. We just need to drag and drop and build this integration processor. So development time will reduce. Test coverage of Apex code is not required because we are not actually building the Apex, not writing the Apex. Easy maintenance and updates. Updates can be easily done because it's a declarative tool. Okay. Velocity integration processor designer. The velocity integration processor designer is a drag and drop tool. We'll just see that used for creating integration process. It has an available component panel which consists of groups and actions. I'll show you. The elements of groups and actions can be dragged and dropped into the structure panel of the designer and make them work. Okay, let's go back and okay, I'll do it here. So if you notice, we have one more tab called integration processor. We discussed about these data wrappers. We discussed about these OmniScripts. Now we will discuss about this integration process. Again, when we go to this integration processor tab, what we see is all the list of integration processors in the list view. So these are some sample integration processors provided by Velocity. So when I click new, I can create a new integration processor. Oh, this looks similar to OmniScript Designer, right? So where I have elements on the left, structure in the middle, and the properties panel. We don't have preview because it doesn't have UI, right? But we can give it a try. I'll just show you. And for integration process, we don't have language, but we have type and subtype, which makes this IP unique. So let me name as account get account details, and I'll just copy subtype into this integration processor name. Then I'll click save. So my integration processor is created. Remember, this type and subtype will make the IP unique. You cannot have same account, same type and subtype for a different IP, but you can have same type with different subtype, or you can have same subtype with different type. We don't have language, but we have language in OmniScript. So in OmniScript, language, type and subtype make an OmniScript unique, but here only type and subtype will make integration processor unique. Okay, so if you scroll down, you will see all this chainable, queuable, etc. Don't worry about these at this point, but these are all various properties in the integration processor. So if you notice, we have groups and actions. This is more advanced tool which we can compare with Apex. We have loops, we have conditions, we have try catch black, we have cache black block, sorry, not black block. Then we have actions, various actions. We have batch action where we can execute something in batches. We have calculation action, charter action, data after extract, data after post, data after transform. I have data after turbo also. I have delete action where we can delete a record. I have DocuSign envelope action where we can integrate DocuSign here. We can generate a DocuSign from here. We have email, we can send an email. We have integration processor action. We can call another integration processor here. Integration processor with an integration. Last time Dinesh spoke about this intelligence action. There is some intelligence added to it. I'll give him the chance for last 5 minutes to talk about it. I have list action where I can merge various lists. Uh, if you remember Apex, we can merge multiple lists into one list. So the same thing can be done here. Matrix is some feature, some other feature in Velocity calculation matrix. So we can call that matrix here. Remote action is something which will call the Apex. So Apex in Apex, we can build a method using some velocity architecture So we need to implement something that I'll tell you in later sessions. So if I have velocity apex class built, I can just call it here. Response action will give the output response of this integration procedure. HTTP action is to make callout. Set value is to set some data. I'll show you. I have preview, but this will not have any UI, but it will just do whatever we included here. So now I want to add the data wrapper extract into this. Then I will call the data wrapper that we built previously. Get details. The data wrapper is get account details, right? Get account details. So here I need to pass the input. So here I will not have any context ID. I'll use set value. I can use context ID directly, but initially I want to use set value to set data account ID, or let me say SV set value account ID. In this I can just add an element. So I'll specify account ID here. Then here in the function, in the effects, or in this, I can write an expression. I can write a formula here. So in this, I'm calling context ID, but remember I should use percentage, which will be the merge field format. We'll give it a try. Then this account ID can be passed from the set element. So we should specify the path like this. In OmniScript, so if we are using set values, we don't need to specify this set value element. But I think here we should specify the set value element name colon the element name inside the set value. Then here, if you remember, we have a key. I always believe in copy paste, especially with OmniScripts, because these are case sensitive. And I'm also lazy, so I'll copy paste. Let me go back and add response action, which will send the response as an output from this IP array account details. Then I can use this element name and pass it here. So let me add this context ID to the params and pass this ID. In the preview. So now I'm previewing. So I'm just adding input parameters where the context ID is my input and the ID. When I execute, I should get the account details. So I got the account details. Okay. So if you notice, this is executed on the server side not on the client side. So it just took 128 milliseconds to execute, and to show in the browser it took 917 milliseconds. So if you mouse over, you will see, and CPU time it consumed is 148 milliseconds. And if you see here, you will see all the steps executed. Initially, set value is executed where account ID is um, fetched ID from this context ID. Then that set value is passed to this data wrapper, and data wrapper has given the output, and this response action took the output from the whole structure and it passed the output from this data wrapper. Okay, so from this structure I have just made some changes. Now I want to show you something else. For example, here I want to show business name along with this business number. I want to have an extra field where I show this name and this number as a single field. I can do that using here itself, but I want to do it in the integration browser. So I'll take a set value in between, or I can also take a formula. Okay, I can take no formula here. I can take set value in between where I can write a formula. So I want to add an element. So I will change it to SV account, or maybe business details, business name with number. Here I will use something like it's not allowing me. It's not letting me type anything. So sometimes it happens. So I'm using some, let me refresh this. There are a lot of bugs in this velocity framework. So what we do is when we saw them, or when we couldn't do something, we'll always raise a case to velocity and they'll try to solve them in the next releases. Yeah, now I am able to. So I want to concatenate two elements. I can just type concat and use elements from the data wrapper. So in the percentage, I'll use step 1 colon business name, then comma, comma with double quotes, a hyphen, comma, and business number. Okay, so I got this formula now. Let us try this. Let us check this. Context ID. Then I can use this ID. I didn't get anything. Maybe my so wrong. Step 1 business name. My names are correct. Okay, I don't need this concat actually. Okay, so I know it. So I can't access them directly. I need this element. Because this data comes from this data wrapper. So I need to specify the data wrapper, then step 1, then this element name. You can see it now, right? So I want to add this to this structure. So for that, you can go to response action. Then in the additional output, this may be a little advanced, or I mean little complex thing. So do step 1 here, and the output of this here, colon the element name, did I get it? No, right? So let me go to this remote action. I didn't get that input here. Anyways, let me go back here, edit this, identify this. This is not the output that I'm expecting. So I'm taking this into a JSON editor, form the JSON that I want. Step 1 colon, before colon, I'll add one more bracket like this, business name. Let me name it as business name. So I'm adding an extra node to this step 1 to get this data. So I'll copy this and paste. So I should give one more column. I got it, but I got an equal. So let me go back here, remove the equal to from here. Preview again, just execute. Oh, I use the same element as business name, which I don't want to. It overrided the existing business name. Okay, let's try this. This is not the correct business use case, because when I try to save back, it uses this one. Okay, let me save as business name with number. I'm taking more time. Please excuse me for it. So now I'll have both business name and business name with number, right? I got business name as well as business name with number. I can do the same thing in OmniScript as well. But I just want to show you what more can I do than just having the data after in this IP. Of course, we'll see more. I can activate this. And I can use in this OmniScript instead of this data after. So I'll open the actions and I'll drag drop the integration procedure action. I'll deactivate this data after IP get details. Then we can find all the available activated integration procedures in this list as a pick list. So we can select this, get account details. And when I preview, instead of this data after, I'm using IP to get the details for my form, right? So now I don't have data after, I have IP. IP is fetching the data from this context ID. So if you can notice in my debug, now my get account details is an IP where it executed, it's an IP. You can see here IP name. It executed on server side. So it showing me all the details, and it's giving the output which I needed. So I have this extra element. So I can just add it to this text block where account details for, then I can merge that using this percentages. Step 1 colon, what's the element name? This one, right? We can make it bold. So we can merge the data in IP and display the data somewhere in the OmniScript. We can use that in the OmniScript. Okay, so even we can just add this data after into an IP and add an IP here as well. Instead of having a data after, we can have IP here as well. But this IP can do more than what we discussed now. It can make a call out, I can call an apex, it can merge lists, it can do a looping, it can do conditional blocks are also there. So it's very similar to what we can do in apex, right? And remember this, we should consider all the governor limits in mind when we develop, when we use a loop or batch or etc. uh, to build an IP, right? Whatever we do, we should keep governor limits in mind. Of course, data raptors will take care of that. We can get maximum 50,000 records with a single query. You already saw that. And to manipulate data, we can do maximum 10,000 records when we do as a list. But in real time perspective, processing more than 10 records, 15 records is not so easy or possible for an end user, right? If I want to collect 100 account details in a single screen, doesn't make sense for an end user. End user will not be able to enter 100 records in a single screen. We generally give an option for them to upload from an Excel or from a CSV, not from an Excel, from a CSV, where they can upload 100 account details from a CSV. That can be done. But we should keep in mind the governor limits. They cannot upload more than 10,000 records in a single call. So if we have to handle more than 10,000, then we can go with batch instead an IP. Okay, I think I'm done for the day. Continues talking for 3 hours. My I'm exhausted. I'm not exhausted. My throat got exhausted. So I'll take a break now. Any questions?
Bala, I have a couple of questions in integration
Yes, please.
procedure. So if suppose one integration procedure, it will contain like a multiple data raptors. So I need to uh, get only for execute only for one data raptor. How it is possible? I need to deactivate all the data raptors or any other is there? Bala?
Very good question. I didn't cover this actually. Either in OmniScripts or data raptors, we have something called conditional rendering. So for example, I don't want to display this account name. I can write a condition here. So
Yes.
then this account name will not be displayed. In the same way, for every element, I have conditional execution in this integration process. I can have a condition here. So for example, if for the very first time I want to execute this, I can have the save post also here. But for the very first time, I want to execute only extract. I can write some formula here and execute only this element, where the other elements will not be executed when the formula is false. Okay. So in this way, we can just have a conditional formula, execution conditional formula, where we can stop the execution of this element. And this for failure condition formula. When this is failed, we can also have a condition, and based on that condition, we can execute other elements. I hope I cleared your answer.
Yes, Bala.
I mean, cleared your question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Other
Another
question?
another one doubt is if I have two data raptors, one it will be get the suppose account ID. One data raptor will get the output account ID.
Okay.
That account ID I need to use in next data raptor. So if one data raptor's output, I need to give the input as another data raptor. It is possible in this integration procedure.
Yes, it is possible. So for example, now I want to have one more data raptor where I want to pass the details from this data raptor. I can use this data source. This data source in the next data raptor will be uh, from the response of this data raptor. That way I can pass one data to the other, data from one data raptor to the other data raptor. So, okay, for example, this is activate. I'm deactivating this. For example, here in this data raptor, I'm getting contact details. I'm adding one more step where I'm getting contact. So here contact ID, not ID, account ID equals to this account colon ID. Then in the output, I'll add one element, contact colon ID, and pass it to contact colon ID. So now if I preview, what I'll get is contact IDs, right? So I can use this. I can add one more extract. I'm not building other data wrapper here. I just want to show you how to pass. So for example, I have con ID here as in filter element. I can just have colon contact ID is contact ID, yes, contact colon ID into this data wrapper. Okay.
Okay.
So output from this data wrapper can be passed as data source into this element. This will not this will execute, but there is no data wrapper. If I go to the second data wrapper's input, con IDs are null. Let me is the ID wrong? It's actually list. It cannot take data wrapper cannot take list. So for this we should use the other one, turbo action. But this is generally how we pass. We pass the data. Okay, let me give only this one. Preview. Let me check now. Still it's taking null, but we can't pass a list into this. But if I have to pass account ID, step 1, colon ID, we'll try now. If I still get null there, maybe because I didn't have any data wrapper inside it. Oh, account ID, single element is passed. So this data wrapper extract action cannot accept list of IDs. For that we'll use turbo action. We'll see in some other example. We'll see some other time. But if we have to execute only if this ID is present for the very first time, we don't have ID, right?
Yes.
When the context ID is null. So we can just write if this is null, should, I mean, we may or may not use this, doesn't matter, but if not equal to, if you people know some context variables, I will discuss about this later. It's dollar velocity dot null. So we can compare null value like this, true or false. So if this is ID is not null, then only this data will execute. If it is null, it will not execute with this condition, with this formula. Okay. So we'll discuss more about these formulas later. Yeah, I hope I answered your questions, previous question also, Dinesh.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any questions? Any other questions from anyone?
So Bala, did you reach a logical conclusion, Bala, for today?
Yes, definitely yes. But I'm waiting for questions.
Okay. Looks like everybody's tired. I can see it
Yeah,
from the beginning. So
as you
before that,
mentioned earlier, it's time for color water now.
Venu must have been enjoying his Karawat today. So
Yeah.
what is that, guys, you're thinking for tomorrow? Do you want to take a break, sir, one day and start on Tuesday onwards? But that was a plan. As in, I know, like introduction, you can now you can walk around. You know, just I shared my dev arc, right? You can look around and see what is that can be done, and we'll be sharing these video links.
I'm stopping the recording.
Yeah, please.